A major cleanup operation is underway across southern Ontario and Quebec. Severe thunderstorms rolled through yesterday, knocking out power for tens of thousands of people, and many won't have it restored for at least a few more days. Hydro officials say the damage to transmission lines is extensive, and it may take even longer to restore power in other hard-hit areas. The storms killed at least 7 people in Ontario and 1 person in Quebec. Homes and vehicles were damaged, and neighborhoods remain littered with downed trees and branches. CBC's Chris Ensing has more from Windsor.
They crossed from Michigan into Ontario and just gained power as it ripped up through Ontario. By the time it hit Ottawa, we were dealing with a number of deaths. Police in Ottawa confirming today that a tree had fallen on a man at a golf course of the city's west end. In Peterborough, we're hearing about a woman who was killed after a tree fell on top of her during this storm. And what they were dealing with here were just winds that are really tough to put in perspective. 120 kilometers an hour reports in Ottawa, in Toronto, for wind gusts during this storm, lasting about a half an hour in some places. A real burst of energy as far as what was packed into this. We're looking at trees that were powered or pushed over by this, those power lines that were pushed over by this. In Toronto, they were seeing hail that was the size of toonies. Mayor John Tory saying today that Toronto had about 1,500 calls to its forestry department dealing with the cleanup there. Power outages still exist for more than 100,000 customers in Ontario. That number at about 14,000 in Toronto right now. And when we look at what's happening as far as making things available for people, Ottawa says that it's set up a couple of shelters to make sure that people have access to a place where they can charge their phones, get those emergency devices ready to go as they look forward to what could be a long time before power is restored. The mayor also saying that they're going to have officials in those areas hardest hit.
We have crews out. Police have been going to affected areas to make sure there's no problems with vandalism or theft or so on. We also have the fire department going into those hard-hit areas, knocking on doors to make sure people are okay. If they need any help, for instance, if someone's oxygen system is reliant on electricity, obviously the paramedics will be there to help them.
You heard him talk about firefighters. The fire department in Ottawa confirming that they built a shelter to temporarily house animals that were trapped during this storm. The police saying a barn was destroyed in the area. And we also know that there's a state of emergency for the town of Uxbridge. They have about 20,000 people there. Earlier this morning, we heard the mayor on Facebook saying that there was the little power available in the community. And there's a team of researchers now looking to see if there was a potential tornado that touched down in Uxbridge, as well as southern parts of Ottawa.
The CBC's Chris Ensing for us in Windsor, Ontario.